32,000 feet above the Pacific Ocean, Daniel Legend sat on a Boeing 749, staring at a battered postcard, perplexed. Who would send a postcard in 2020, thought Daniel.
Angela, you haven't mentioned her in years. Your sister was bad news. Good written.
Angela. This means something. Shinjuku was the center of Tokyo's cultural diversity, a city within a city where 300,000 permanent residents, 1 in 10 from another country, shared space with 200,000 daily visitors. Shinjuku had become the melting pot of Tokyo. Amidst the moving herd, a corpulent man dressed in a perfectly tailored white suit, black silk shirt, crimson tie, with a symmetrical bright red poppy on his lapel, stood transfixed, staring up at the hundreds of small neon signs blinking off and on in syncopation. Bars, movie theaters, illegal libations, restaurants, and cage fights were all available here. Anything else, handsome? The flight attendant asked with a wink. No thanks. Keep the change. She was lovely, but his attention was somewhere else. At the end of the block was a nightclub with a bright yellow and red pulsing sign identifying it as Uptown Fridays. Uptown Fridays was a traditional Japanese hostess bar, a place where successful businessmen in Tokyo came after work to swill American bourbon while discussing politics, sports, and leisure with young, tight-bodied Japanese girls before going home to their nagging wives. The man in white entered the bar and was greeted by a beautiful hostess in yellow. The hostess in yellow seated the newcomer alone at a large table in the corner. The man took his sport coat off and unbuttoned his sleeves, exposing an intricate tattoo. Another woman appeared, clad in a crimson kimono, her face bearing traditional geisha makeup, bowed and silently slipped away. The door to the office suddenly opened, and a silver-haired businessman in a black suit emerged. The airplane's PA system chimed softly, announcing the beginning of the descent into Narita International Airport.
お忍びでどんなご用かな。
人、もう待てないんだ。結局お前は何もしなかったじゃないか。今夜決着をつける。この場所を自分のものにするんだよ。
She pulled a Beretta pistol out of his waistband and placed it on the table, keeping his eyes trained on the man in black.
そうだ、ポピー。なんて名前はどうだろう。
Daniel Legend finished his whiskey and popped a piece of chewing gum into his mouth as the plane touched down at Narita. Daniel came out of the airport. He raised one arm to hail a taxi. He held up the mystery postcard.
You know where this is?
The driver looked at the postcard.
Looks like somewhere in the Shinjuku.
Take me there.
Back at the hostess bar,
ここは俺の会社だ。男足は聞かないぞ。明日神との延期の話をする。今日のところはお一人をお願いしようか。
神、あの古田抜きに何ができる？
she raised one hand. The wind whipped through the club, plunging the room into darkness. Hito grabbed the pistol from the table, aimed it at She, and pulled the trigger. The driver turned the taxicab onto the expressway. The rain fell harder as they approached the main part of Tokyo.
Shinjuku. It's a very special place. Not so good for tourists.
体の中はいい。いつもうまくいく。
Hito dropped the pistol and rushed to the door. Hito screamed to his staff through the locked door. There was no answer.
So, tell me, where are the Shinjuku?
Oh, Shinjuku is a nice spot. Shinjuku is a nice spot.
もう誰も助けられない。
She ran 2 fingers across the tattoo on his forearm. The ink began to glow and rise.
お前は地下道の世界へ行くんだ。
She's body began to change with the shifting tattoos. Spikes sprouting through his jacket. Knots of muscle rising below his skin. Hito shrieked in horror as she leapt for him. Togenza! She hissed and struck. The lights in the club flared once, then sputtered out.